Hey everyone, this is Andrea from Andy's Corner, and I'm so glad that you've joined me today. And today we are reading a crazy story, so let's dig in. Now, last episode we left off with Abraham pleading to save Sodom and Gomorrah and saying, if there's only just 10 righteous people, don't destroy the whole city. Now, let's find out if there's even 10 righteous people. So we're in Genesis chapter 19. That evening, the two angels came to the entrance of the city of Sodom. Lot was sitting there, and when he saw them, he stood up to meet them. Then he welcomed them and bowed his face to the ground. My lords, he said, come to my home to wash your feet and be my guests for the night. You may then get up early in the morning and be on your way again. Now that's kind of funny because he has no clue, clearly, why those two angels are there. He's like, oh, come, I'll feed you, and then you can be on your way again. When the angels are like, no, that's not how it's going to go. Oh, no, they replied, we'll just spend the night out here in the city square. But Lot insisted. Why do you think Lot insisted? Why not spend the night in the city square? He's like, no, 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 please come back to my house. So at last they went home with him, and Lot prepared a feast for them, complete with fresh bread made without yeast, and they ate. But before they retired for the night, all the men of Sodom, young and old, came from all over the city and surrounded the house. They shouted to Lot, where are the men who came to spend the night with you? Bring them out to us so we can have them. Lot stepped outside to talk to them, shutting the door behind him. Please, my brothers, he begged, don't do such a wicked thing. Look, I have 2 daughters. Let me bring them out to you. But please leave these men alone, for they are my guests and they are under my protection. Now, Lot is right that in that time, when guests came to visit you, it was like they became part of your family and you were required and expected to protect them at all costs. But these men were coming with a wicked request. And then Lot responds with the wicked solution. And it seems like Lot, that's not a good idea either. So, how good of a guy is Lot if he's trying to give away his 2 daughters? To me, Lot sounds a little confused as to what is right and wrong nowadays. And friends, that can happen sometimes. The closer we get to wickedness, the more we forget what goodness is like. And the more we might compromise what is good. Stay tuned. Okay, so stand back, they shouted. This fellow came to our town as an outsider, and now he's acting like our judge. We'll treat you far worse than those other men. And they lunged toward Lot to break down the door. These men were angry and on a mission. But praise the Lord, God is good. Let's see what happens. But the two angels reached out, pulled Lot into the house, and bolted the door. Then they blinded all the men and young and old who were at the door of the house, so they gave up trying to get inside. Meanwhile, the angels questioned Lot. Do you have any other relatives here in this city? They asked. Get them out of this place, your sons-in-law, your sons, daughters, or anyone else. For we are about to destroy this city completely. The outcry against this place is so great that it has reached the Lord, and he has sent us to destroy it. Now, Sodom is known for one of these sins, the wickedness of those men that were coming to his house. But later on in the Bible, Ezekiel actually mentions other sins that Sodom committed as well. It says in Ezekiel 16, verses 48 through 50, that Sodom's sins were pride, gluttony, laziness, and they also ignored the poor and the greedy. And that is also why God had to destroy them. Whoops, I gave away the secret. God does destroy them. So God couldn't even find 10 righteous people, which implies that maybe Lot and his family were not that righteous. And based on what we see about Lot and what he was trying to do with his daughters, not so much. Okay, but let's see what happens. So Lot rushed out to tell his daughter's fiancés, "Quick, get out of the city. The Lord is about to destroy it." But the young men thought he was only joking. Now, friends, these are his daughter's fiancés, and they don't even take him seriously. It seems like Lot doesn't have that much of a great influence on the people around him, let alone his own family. It seems as though he has allowed the city and the people surrounding to influence him, which that is not okay. We have to be the light in the darkness. We have to be strong enough to influence others. Now, at dawn the next morning, the angels became insistent. "Hurry," they said to Lot. "Take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here. Get out right now, or you will be swept away in the destruction of the city." This is Lot's second warning, and he's still like, da, 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 da. Then get this. When Lot still hesitated, even after the second warning, he still was resistant. Why? Why is he resisting to save his life? It's like he desires so much to be among these wicked people. That is not good. If you are a good, righteous person, you don't desire to inhabit with wicked people. Yes, you desire to save them, but you're not like, "Oh, I miss them. I want to be near them." No, we should always speak the truth and reach out to them. But it's not okay to be longing for wickedness, right? So then the angel seized his hand and the hands of his wife and the 2 daughters, and they rushed them to safety outside the city. For the Lord was merciful. Yes. So the Lord could not even find 10 righteous people. And he was showing mercy when he pushed Lot and his wife and his 2 daughters to safety because Lot was resisting. When they were safely out of the city, one of the angels ordered, "Now run for your lives and don't look back or stop anywhere in the valley. Escape to the mountains or you will be swept away." "Oh no, my lord," begged Lot. "You have been so gracious to me and saved my life, and you have shown such great kindness, but I cannot go to the mountains or disaster would catch up to me there, and I would soon die. See, there is a small village nearby. Please let me go there instead. Don't you see how small it is? Then my life will be saved." Lot confuses me. It's like he wants to get as close to the destruction as possible. When it's like, I feel like if that were me, I would want to get as far away as possible. But he's almost like afraid to leave this wicked town. I don't know. "All right," the angel said. "I will grant your request. I will not destroy the little village, but hurry, escape to it, for I can do nothing until you are there." Lot reached the village just as the sun was rising over the horizon. Then the Lord rained down fire and burning sulfur from the sky on Sodom and Gomorrah. He utterly destroyed them, along with the other cities and villages of the plain, wiping out all the people and every bit of vegetation. But Lot's wife looked back as she was following behind him. Now, was she being obedient or disobedient to what the angels warned her not to do? They said, "Run for your lives. Do not look back. Do not stop." She looked back, and she turned into a pillar of salt. She died. Abraham got up early that morning and hurried out to the place where he had stood in the Lord's presence. He looked out across the plain toward Sodom and Gomorrah and watched as columns of smoke rose from the cities like smoke from a furnace. But God had listened to Abraham's request and kept Lot safe, removing him from the disaster that engulfed the cities on the plain. Now, whew, that is an intense story. But what did you learn about God? I don't know about you, but I learned that It seemed as though there were no righteous people. Even Lot's actions were very questionable. And it wasn't until they finally pushed him physically out that he left. It's almost like he desires to be amongst the wicked, which is not what God's best for us. So I learned that even despite that, but because of Abraham's prayer and request and plea over Lot's life, God showed mercy and saved Lot. God is a merciful God and a gracious God. And even Lot says that. You have been so gracious to me. Let me please escape to this small village. And it's like he's pushing his boundaries, man. This guy, they said, go to the mountain. He's like, oh, but I like this city better. Dude, just do what they're telling you to do. I don't know about you, but I learned that God is merciful. I learned that God does not like wickedness and that people will face consequences for their actions. I also learned that we as humans can sometimes reflect back on things that we desire that are not of God, and that will cause us hurt, and that can maybe stifle us from growing. I mean, Lot's wife, she looked back in desire for what was her life there, and she died. So I want to be aware, am I looking back at a time in my life where I'm like, oh, that was such an amazing time, but really it wasn't? And maybe I was in a sinful place, either in myself or around me. I was surrounding myself with not good people, and God tried to rescue me from that. And I'm like, oh, I miss those people. No, if God has rescued you and taken you to someplace better, then be there, be present with the Lord and enjoy what He has done and how He has rescued you and how He has brought you out of wickedness and out of your sin. And I think as you read in the Bible, we'll see that even the Israelites do that. They get enslaved by Egypt and then they cry out, God, save me, save me, save me. Then God saves them. And then they're like, oh, we miss Egypt. What? Excuse me? You were just saying how much you wanted to be free from Egypt. So I want to be aware when I cry out to the Lord to save me, then I shouldn't look back later and be like, oh, I missed this place or that situation when I was the one that cried out for God to help me. And also, when we do cry out to God for help, He will help us. I think that's very clear here. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and stay tuned to find out what happens with Lot's family. There is more craziness still to come. All right? Bye.